deal.
Yummy sal. It's not smash again. What's it? Say, Mama, I'm gonna pick us miss. Just give it one again, like this. You can keep it. Not far, that was not okay.
You've got bubbles, this one's on, six that things we got on plan. You've got bubbles, it goes, make me stop to make things that things we got on plan. You've got bubbles, what comes, it got on, it never things we got on plan. You've got bubbles, what comes, make me stop to do things that things we got on plan.
Alex de Vesuvius Eminentio.
Emmy's not so. It's not smash again. What's it? Say, Mama, bye, whenever it goes miss. Just give it to one again, like when you say you can keep it. You're not far, that was not okay.
Hello everybody, we're back. It's 8 o'clock on the 22nd of October. Mistiming on the audio there. Normally I get it right. It was completely out of sync. But how's it going, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Episode 284. We're going to be looking at the Stigmergic Swarm, which is the result of yesterday's stream. So if you want to watch episode 283, you can see us building Cognition 9, which was the new cognition research project, which I shared live. So hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to be taking a look at some cool stuff. Chernikar. There's a new one, Chernikar. Oh dear. So hello Fernikar, Battlecruiser operational, liked and subscribed. Hello Lucathea. When I get home, it's late at night. I'm black and bloody from my life. I haven't had time to clean my hands. Cuts will only sting me through my dreams. Could probably read those lyrics better, but I love the lyrics. Thank you very much. Dragon says, Drift, have you been drinking the OpenAI Kool-Aid? Emergence intelligence? You've caught the AI AGI bug. I just prefer different. It's just different. It's just a different or architecture. That's all. No orchestrator. That's the main take from the one that we're going to look at today. No orchestrator. Okay? So that's what Stigmergic's all about. What we did was we combined the two experimental sub-agent architectures and created a new hybrid swarm, which I'm going to be, well, it's released. It's on GitHub. You can install it and use it already. Good luck. But it works well. So, may as well dive in. So let's just get rid of this for a minute. Put her up there for now. Now, I guess I best just open a new project and download it. Yeah. Take it from the top, as they say. It might be that my Claude code already has a bunch of agents in there, but hopefully these won't conflict. We'll see, won't we? So if we just go GitHub, and I'm just going to grab the latest repo, which will be, any minute now, hybrid swarm agent. So let's move this over a little bit and get some more space here. Hybrid swarm. Okay. Now, I'm not going to spend half an hour going over it, but it goes like this. Layer 1 has an adaptive resonance layer, which dynamically creates and manages specialist agents. So it creates the best specialist. You don't need to define it. The system builds one for you. Now, specialists emerge organically from task characteristics. So if you ask for something, it just makes it. Uses resonance matching to select appropriate specialists. Okay? So it may create one. It may use one it already made in the past. So the more you use it, the better it gets. Learns and adapts specialist profiles over time. Now, layer 2, the dynamic approaches layer. Now, what's an approach? You could look at that as a pattern for a solution, A, B, or C. So, for example, it might be write an essay format for a Substack post or a blog. It might be write a technical article for a GitHub or a study paper. It might be write story in good prose for a narrative project. So it's going to come up with different solutions which the specialist is going to then use to solve whatever the task is. Okay? So approaches emerge from successful execution patterns, not hard-coded. It used to have ABC, so it's compatible with ABC, but they're actually dynamic now. It discovers effective patterns through clustering of execution history. So after you've run 50 tasks, it'll cluster all of the things you do, and it'll make them. It'll learn from what it's done. The approaches evolve based on performance feedback, natural selection. Ineffective approaches are pruned automatically, and then specialized approaches for different niches and styles are possible. Okay. Then you have, finally, the Stigmergic coordination layer. This is the cool swarm stuff. So specialists coordinate through a shared signal board. So you remember when we were doing the holographic memory stuff and I had a little piece of everything in everyone? Well, imagine if a little piece of the task was in every agent, and instead of waiting for each other to complete all the time, they just kind of stuck post-it notes on a great big whiteboard, and then the answer will emerge, okay? So that's essentially what we're doing. So agents deposit signals about approach effectiveness. So it's more about which technique got the best answer. Those signals are then amplified or attenuated like pheromones in an ant hive. And that enables swarm intelligence without direct communication. So again, this is all about trying to get away from waiting for an agent to finish a task. You know, how do we know when he's finished? But if we don't need to wait for him, we can just make everything faster and quicker and have more agents. And yeah. So the result is vertical specialization specialists. So dynamic agent code, if you will. And then horizontal diversity. So the approaches they use can also evolve. And then the collective intelligence, the swarm itself. So remember, there's no orchestrator. Okay? No orchestrator. It's just a swarm. So we're going to start straight from the GitHub. So you could call it a tutorial. I hope it goes well. So we're going to go and find ourselves a nice place to put this. I'm just going to say swarm test, even though it's a demo. You never really know, do you? Control Shift apostrophe for the terminal. Git clone, Control V, enter, and hopefully he'll catch up with us. Okay. So we now have that. To make sure that root is root, I will immediately open a like this. So then in the instructions, it always says something like CD folder, but we're already in the folder. So that's fine. All right, so let's just see here. What do we got? So it tells me how I can install this with Claude Code. So you will be able to use it as @hybrid swarm and then prompt. And you can use that with other agents as well. It's very cool. So that's where we're going to be. This is where we're at. This is what we're building. So your question: runs my Python, get coordination, does adaptive resonance, does dynamic approaches, does Stigmergic signals, generates real answer, the tools, does report result. Okay. So without getting too, we could spend an hour going over all of this, but I want to show it working. So one point to note: GitHub doesn't allow you to upload the Claude folder with a dot, so you'll have to put a dot there. There's a bunch of commands if you want to try and automate it, but I'm just going to put a dot there. Okay. So that means that we've already got up to the point where we have to do pip install requirements. Now, my terminal's tiny for some reason. Okay. So let's see. We're going to do the pip install, obviously. Yeah. So I'll just copy it exactly as it is. I want to make sure that the install's good as well, you know, because it might be maybe I missed something with the upload. So I like to do that. I like to just double check it. Obviously, it works on the machine I developed it on, but maybe there's some secret magic going on. So anyway, we've renamed Claude Claude. You can see if we go into Claude agents, we've got the hybrid swarm agent. There it is. And if you want to pick that apart, you can. It's currently set to Sonnet. Okay, I think that this could actually run really well with Haiku, so we might give that one a test, but I'll show it off as is first. So it's going to run the thing, it's going to do all the stuff. Like I said, it's very cool. And, you know, this is an example. So, you know, if you were to put a different example, he's actually going to behave differently, because that's how that works. But anyway, this is good for now. All right. So what I'm going to do, let's go back to the README and just make sure that the install makes sense. So as far as I can tell, we've now installed it, because all it was NumPy, really, I think that's for vector operations. But all I need to do now really is just say Claude, and hopefully it works. Oh yeah, I trust him. I trust him, Claude, don't worry. Okay, so now if I type /agents, there we go, I've got hybrid swarm, so it's time to test it. So I think a nice way to sort of introduce it would be to just give a simple instruction to a chat and see the difference. I mean, it's not really very scientific, to be honest, but so how about we give it an instruction like, okay, I need a report as a new markdown artifact which can describe the difference in tensile strength between a feather and steel wire of equal diameter. Diameter? Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. Show your workings. Yeah, show your working. Show your working in the report. I should ask for citations as well. No, it's all right. So I need a report for a new markdown artifact which can describe the difference in tensile strength between a feather and a steel wire section. A section of steel wire of equal length and diameter. Okay. Just give them something simple to chew on, right? Okay. And then I'll do the same over here. It's not very scientific, I'll admit, but it's, you know, it's the best I can do to show something side by side, Hybrid swarm, paste. Don't tell me you can't paste it. There we go, we got it. We got it. Right click got me into there. So, he's discombobulating. Whoops. So we will go like this, and then we will go like this, and hopefully I didn't break it. I can see it provided. Ah, he's doing a template response. What? The answer generator provided a template response. You little... What is he doing? All right, so Sonnet's finished. And the report's awesome. Look at this report. Okay. Meanwhile, my guy is having some issues post-install. He's having some post-install blues. I wonder if that's legit. How is everybody doing today? Let's see what people are doing. Is that Apollonia in disguise? Is Windows letting me download stuff? True. I guess so. It's not virus this time, guys. Anyway, yeah. Zeus says, hello, indeed, hi. And Full Dive Media is also here. Welcome. Okay, so we've ended up with our thing. And you know what? I think he lied about the template because this is not a template. But we'll check. So let's just have a look at the artifacts. We should have an artifact. And we should be able to open preview and see it largely. So we've got the other thing to break down. Yeah, see, he created a new... Anyway, so let's have a look at the quality of the output here. So, I know. We'll copy this and we'll put this also in there. And we'll call it tensile strength chat. There we go. There. So let's see. We have 5,000 on this side and we have 10,000 on the swarm side. So let's have a look and see. Obviously there'll be differences, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to compare quality like just by, it's not really just about length, is it? So let's see, this is the one produced by wait a minute. Huh? Hold up. Yeah. I think somehow I just changed the preview by clicking on a different file. All right. So I want to look at... Damn it, getting confused. So let's look at the chat version that was made by... Well, actually, I don't need to put that there, do I? Just be smart about it. So we'll make the preview for this one and put that on this side. And then we can have them side by side-ish. Side by side-ish. Okay. Maybe tweak it a bit. Okay. Oh, did you know that steel is dramatically superior to a feather, guys? 100 to 500 times greater. Oh, okay, we've got the same information there. Okay, it's kind of similar, yeah, no. But then it gets different. We're going to introduction and material properties. Mine gets specimen parameters. So I guess it's like got into, I don't know, man. So we've got the bird feather versus the steel wire. So feather, Ratchis keratin. I mean, mine looks more detailed, guys. I don't know about you. I just think that the swarm does a better job of producing. Like, what the heck is this? It's the same information, I guess. It's not different, is it? What does it say? So primary composition of the steel wire. Looking at the details here. 1 2 megapascals. 1 to 2 mega. Well, what? Yeah, that's the same. And then this one says 400 to 2000. This says 1200 to 2000. So we've got a wider range, and it doesn't say what type of wire. Look, we're like, oh, we're looking at this wire. You see what I mean? There's just a little bit more detail there in the swarm than you would get from a normal chat. And I think the swarm is actually faster as well, because the normal chat is now using orchestrator subagent. So it has to kind of wait for everything to happen. It's still lightning fast, don't get me wrong. Okay, a small one chat scale, you can't really tell. But anyway, we'll keep going. I'm not going to look at everything. Okay, so did he give me the tensile strength calculations in here? I mean, maybe I'm just supposed to know that. Oh, wait, hang on. Kind of. We've got maximum force before failure. Whereas this has tensile strength, feather calculation, steel wire calculation. And then he's worked out a strength ratio. Did we get a strength ratio? Yep. No, wait, kind of? What? Excuse me? Oh, because it's so light. I understand. Because it's so lightweight. Okay. So it's actually really strong. Wait a minute. Is it actually stronger than steel, weight for weight? Feather actually has a slightly better strength to weight ratio. Learn something every day. But it says here, steel is 10 to 20 times stronger than the feather. But we're talking about weight efficiency. So yeah, steel is 10.5 times more force than can withstand. Okay. So do we have anything about that on here? Elastic region behavior, feather stress strain, steel stress strain. Mate, it's in depth. Real world applications conclusion, and it's finished. So this one's still got a bit of a way to go, guys. Let's keep going on the swarm output. Huh, nice graph. I've not seen it do that before. Okay. A lot of formulas. We're getting a lot of formulas, don't you think? Maybe we need to do some citations needed here, but I'm impressed with the granularity of the detail. Obviously, it's like, you've got to check this stuff. Is this actually accurate? I don't know. Like, we've just literally pulled this out of thin air just to do a comparison. So mass comparison. Strength to weight ratio. Steel is only 1.22 times better than a feather, which explains why nature evolved keratin structures for flight. Okay, so yeah, we looked for that. Mass comparison. Steel wire is 8.7 times heavier than the feather. Okay. According to hollow structure. Still going. We're still talking about... We've got another summary table. And now we get to the conclusions. Okay. Feathers achieve 82% of steel-specific strength, while being 9 times lighter. And it gives us some citations. No citations over here. So we know what we have to do, guys. We've got to search for this, don't we? So let's look up the code, not the title first. So, I mean, the title, yeah, the code with the, yeah. Copy that. Oh dear, Google. Okay. 40. You can't search like that. All right, fine. How about we try that? I bet there is a way to do it, but you probably have to like go on their website. I don't know. What? Homework problems. What? Not API keys. Just the site, please. Right. Construction and composition of the squid pan. Okay, Cameron GJ. Yeah. Right. Where is it? Here's the full citation. Find the full citation. Structure and mechanical properties of the squid pen. Journal of Experimental Biology. Ooh, the number's different. 20614. It's the correct date and title, but I don't know if the number's right. I mean, maybe there's another one though. You know, I don't know everything. Maybe I'll just search for the whole thing. The thing is, if this is running on Claude, right, won't it just tell me the same mistake? Squid, pen, Gladys. Right, find the thing. Yes. Well, wait, what's that? What's that? PubMed. Okay, what about this one? I mean, it exists, but I can't find a public. Do you know what I mean? What's this? Reaction diffusion models within feather. Ah! Reaction diffusion models within feather pattern pigmenting. Yeah? Or pigmentation patterning. Royal Society. Doesn't have a number. What's the number? It's, do you know what I mean? This is why it's tricky. Sometimes these numbers are a bit squirrely, but that is there. That is real. And it is what it says it is. Okay. All right. And then, I mean, I bet that's right. A specification of wire, you know? I bet that's right. I'm just trying to, because yesterday when we searched him up, it gave really random stuff. Yeah, there's actually, yeah, it's the standard spec for steel. All right, and then, okay. Anyway, so yeah, the citations check out, but sometimes I feel like it might be hallucinating the actual reference number, and I think the reason is because a lot of the time there's no web page. Like when you actually go and search for it, there's a reference to it and it exists, but it doesn't really have like a public viewing area. Let's see if we can find this. It's probably, yeah. Young's Modulus of the Feather Keratin, 1998. Oh no, 1995. It is 95. Volume 198. Ah, that's the volume number and that's the page number. It must be taken from the same information, surely. Show papers that cited this. Okay. Can we click here? Hey, we found it, I think. 1029. Oh, 190. I don't, it's hard to verify because the numbers are different. But it says this is what it's supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? Ah, okay. I think I'm happy with that. But the point I was making is this is a nice response. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice response. It's a fair, very, you know, it's very good. But I think this might actually be cheaper. So do we have... okay, normally it gives me a little bit of this is what I did. But he didn't do that this time. Okay, well, anyway. So, here we go. Here's the little report. Right. So I don't know why he gave this. I was getting a bit triggered here because he looked like he was going to give me some nonsense response, but he actually did what he was supposed to do. So I would ignore that. It might be that it's misinterpreting the dynamic template as a template because it is a template, but when you look at it, it's writing itself. So this is like that whole dynamic hybrid system prompt stuff just taken to cybernetic principles to run the swarm. So let's have a look and see what he said. So Steelwire, raw report complete. Hybrid swarm system coordinated this task through Stigmergic layer, creating a new specialist for this technical writing task. So that means the next time we say, write me some technical stuff, he'll do that. So how about we give him something to chew on? I reckon I could just grab a file from somewhere. How about we grab landlocked? Yeah, we'll grab the landlocked. Oh, I wonder if he could process the NML without knowing what it is. I've got the NSL. So this is an XML based narrative file format, which I've been working on. So if I just download that, I know this is abstract because look, I think it'll make sense. Because it tells him everything it is. Look, horror, Halloween, right? So anyway, let me just drop that file in there somewhere. I'll probably just put it in the root. Okay, landlock.nsl. Now he won't understand what an NSL file is. So the trick is, it's just extended XML. Okay, so you can just use XML. Let's see what he does. This is going to be experimental as hell. So /clear, and I'll go at swarm. Oh wait, hybrid swarm, sorry. Hybrid swarm. And then we'll say, using the contents of at landlocked.xml, write out a detailed examination of the characters, themes, and the world of this narrative. Yeah. Does it actually include the book? Hang on, I've got a feeling that it doesn't include the book. It just includes how to write it, who everyone is, where they are, and what they're going to do. Yeah, there's no actual book in here, so it's not a story. It's not a story. I should probably fix my bad spelling, guys. Detailed examination of the... Oh, yes. Using the contents of landlocked XML of this narrative... this narrative rag... Because that's what it is. It's rag data. Narrative rag data, which will be used to write stories with AI. Okay. And then I'll say comma as a new markdown artifact, so he just makes it as a new thing in the artifacts folder. It's usually a good way to do it. So let's see how he does it. I wonder if he'll make a new agent, or if he'll oh wow, shift tab to go into plan mode. Cool. I don't use Claude Code enough, but they've given us all these cool abstraction layers now, so I'm like, so you can set up multi-agent architectures very easily just with atting them, you know, and then it's all written in Markdown, so it could never have been easier. Everything I've been teaching for a year is this, and they've just made it super easy. So, I mean, don't worry about my custom narrative language. That's kind of my one of my things I've been doing, right? But we're actually working on a 2.0 spec at the moment because I think that the YAML header is a really good idea, and I want to incorporate that into a new version of Narrative Spittoon. It's funny, we were about to make 3.0, so like Narrative Spittoon 3, and I've been building an app which is like building the stories and stuff, right? And it works really nicely when you use Claude. So I've got a local version I've been trying to develop, which is like using Olama. And the biggest problem has been that Olama, move the mic a bit. Olama is great, but you have to build all this stuff. So it's not as easy to implement, you know, there's a bit more work you have to do with context chaining and summarization and all this. And I think that the YAML header is a neat solution that might actually make what we've already got lightweight enough to do what we want it to do. So now it's just a question of building something and proving it. It's quite a big file that I've given it to him as well, so, you know, it might take him a while to chew. Might take him a while to chew. Okay. Turn that on. Laptop. Turn that on. Oh no. Oh no, passwords. Still unfurling, are we? See, I actually think it would be really cool to make a React interface which shows the swarm, like animate the agents rushing past the screen as it makes the answer. I just think that would be a cool way to do it. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this project. I was surprised to, well, it's funny, Full Dive, actually. We wrote a story. We wrote a story on the Hangout before the stream, so we'll be doing more of this after the show. But yeah, so here we go. Check this out. No way. I'm just going to say yes. All right, so now I've got my new stream bombing the stream. Say that with a mouthful of jelly. So, where did it put it? How is Claude doing? 3. I'd love it if they changed what the button was, so you had to have to read it. So where is, there we go, landlocked narrative. Right, here we go. So I just took the narrative bucket format, which is used to generate stories. And we made, like I said, I used the swarm to, no, stop. That was a different story. This one was done by us in a Q&A interview live, not so long ago, a few episodes ago. So we did the Halloween story with the Q&A interview, and then we made all the pages and we wrote the book. The book's done, it's finished. But this is what the swarm has to say about that. It's 30,000 characters long, guys. What do you think would happen, if anything, if I drop that into... Right. Hang on. What was the prompt I used exactly? Copy that. Go to a Claude chat. New chat. Using the contents of landlocked XML, which we will now drop in there for him. Got to show it off. There, landlocked XML. Right. I actually think this is going to work with Haiku, so we're going to have a go at that in a minute. Man, I am totally camouflaged by that preview. So yeah, I examined the thing, blah, 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 cool. Right, so let's look at the response that we got from the swarm. We'll go to the preview mode. I'm sure there is one. There we go, preview mode. Make it bigger. Yeah. Okay, so Landlocked is a Halloween story created through the Narrative Spittoon in version 3.0 methodology, featuring reverse chronological generation, pages 5 through 0, for tight plotting. The story follows 3 college freshmen who enter a landlocked Gothic asylum on Halloween, discovering a Hellmouth portal that manifests their deepest fears as lethal grotesques. The narrative employs protagonist subversion, fear-based supernatural mechanics, an ambiguous resolution to create psychological horror grounded in character vulnerability. Core innovation, written ending first. It's not really, we've been doing this for a year, but I guess he's never heard of it. Was the Hangout on Discord or YouTube? This was on YouTube. We wrote the Q&A on YouTube. All the important stuff happens on YouTube. We do most of our sort of casual discussion Q&A sort of ideas and spitballing, brainstorming. A lot of this stuff happens as a result of conversations with you guys that come in. You come in and you say something to me, and then it sparks some idea, and then I go ahead and build something that we show on the show. So I really appreciate everyone that does come along and get involved, because that's the brain trust, man. You know, where do ideas come from? We talk about all these sorts of things and more. But anyway, come down to the show. Come down to the Hangouts. It's all fun. And if you're watching later, we still appreciate you. More people watch later than watch live by a long shot. So I do realise that it's just time zones. People are all over the world. It's totally cool. We appreciate everybody hanging out, tuning in, contributing on Discord. It's all good. So, yeah. So anyway, written ending first to ensure casual tightness and eliminate plot holes. So you don't have to worry about the future collapsing if you wrote with a solid future. And when you think about it, when you write a story, it's good practice to write the ending, because you know how it's going to end. You're not just writing into oblivion, okay? And that also applies with LLMs. So we write a single page backwards at a time, and we pre-plan everything first with all of our type rag, like I say. So it's telling me about the different things. So world architecture. So now it's telling me about the world data. So this is all the information. All right. It's your typical haunted Gothic asylum type stuff. Right. There's a few little flourishes that have been added by me, you know, because that was the Q&A format. So anyway, decay and abandonment. This book's already written, guys. I don't even need to trip. I'll probably just publish it. You know, Giant's out. Just because you don't put them in print doesn't mean they're not published. If anybody can read it, that's a win for me. You know, people reading versus money. What, you know? So anyway, we have the grotesques, the supernatural philosophy, the character architecture, all that good stuff. So if we just scroll down here, it's literally giving me the full review of everything in here. It couldn't have done a better job. It couldn't have done a better job. If I get all the way down, look at this. Oh my God, it's doing technical specs, the relationships, the story, the timeline. What's this? Narrative rag integration notes, world building, thematic consistency, structural guidance, style and voice, embedding recommendations. Oh, that's cool. I have often wondered about doing it with embeddings. The problem is there's a technical barrier for people that don't know how to do that. So this is why we just use MD files. And to be honest, it seems like everyone's starting to just use MD files. So, you know. Okay. Obviously, there's scripting you can do on top. Like we have our Python running to do the things. Wow. Holographic tutor assessment was 90 out of 100. Universe elements. Okay. For AI story generation, load this document into the RAG system for consistent character voices, world rules, and thematic coherence. Structural guidance when guiding stories in the landlocked universe or using NSI 3.0. It is what it is, and it does what it does. Look at that. Comprehensive reference for maintaining narrative consistency using adaptive resonance and Stigmergic coordination principles. Okay. He reckons there's 8,500 words here. Hang on. There's like 31,000. Oh, words, not characters. Okay. That's probably about right. If I go to the response here, he should tell me a little bit more about what he did. Let's see. Landlocked. He shows me what he did. Any note from the thing? No notes. Sometimes he'll tell you. I think there is a log file somewhere. Let me check. Logs. Is there data? No. Maybe there aren't any. Could have sworn there were logs. Okay. Maybe not. But yeah, like I said, it's what it can do is kind of crazy. I don't really know what it can really do, if I'm being honest. Like, I haven't really done much with it, if that makes sense. Like, I've just sort of put it out as is. It works. It's good. But there's a lot that could be built on top of this. Ooh, that's a point. Let's try haiku for the sub-agent. Oh, by the way, it is possible to use... there are ways of modifying this sort of setup to use not Claude. You could set it up with Gemini. There are ways so that, like, when it runs the thing, it actually runs it through Gemini CLI. So there's like I said, there's ways of doing it. I've seen people use Claude code, but then they're using sub-agents that are not using Claude models. So I know there's ways of doing it. I haven't looked into it myself. So at the moment, I'm just using like a pro login. It's funny. It's been saying I'm approaching my weekly limit ever since I started using it. So, yeah, it might just stop working, I guess. But yeah, let's try changing that to haiku and give it another little thing to do here. So what do we got here? Hybrid swarm, landlocked. Let's go back. How about we give him something other than that? How about one of these? This is going to be hard because it's got a bunch of weird stuff in it. Oh, wait, no, that's the 3D stuff. That's going to be too hard. I haven't experimented to see if you can give them a custom system prompt at the moment. I suspect you can. I suspect you can like flavor the entire swarm with a system prompt, but I haven't gotten to actually changing it. So that's actually a good point. Does Claude Code have a system prompt already? Because then I don't, you know what I mean? I don't need to engineer stuff that's already there. Let's ask Claude. Hey, Claude. Explain how to set the system prompt in Claude Code. I don't think I've ever done it. Yes, exactly. Let's read out some comments before we carry on. What do we got? Can't wait to see more writing content. Full Dive, is the Hangout was on Discord or YouTube? Basically, the Discord Hangouts can sometimes be extremely long because, you know, we're doing all kinds of different stuff. It's impossible to actually record them. You would have to live stream them, which is basically what we're doing. But unfortunately, Discord doesn't archive live streams. That's the real thing. I don't have the bandwidth to stream from home like we do here. You know, it would be terrible quality. It wouldn't even be worth doing. But you know, it would be nice if we could do that. But again, sometimes there isn't really a stream. We're just talking. But yeah, anyway. I suppose we could... Because that's the thing. Whenever you try to like, oh, we'll transcript it, we'll record it, you have problems and it misses things. And also, then you've got to actually upload it. So then it's like, so where does that go? And, you know, and it just basically turns into, that's a channel of its own. Do you know what I mean? Streaming and recording the daily Discord stuff would be a channel of its own. I can't do that as well. Let's see. This guy's self-propelling, always snowballing from one project to make another one. It's true. I mean, once I've finished the project, I finished the project. But then I've got more questions I need to answer. Because sometimes answers lead to questions. And then it's like a chain of questions and answers until you get to the solution. So, anyway, Zeus says, Discord hangouts are nice to ask for gritty details on how things work. I ask how it's Stigmergic worked out versus context size limit. Yeah, because it's a very good point. The honest answer is that subagents are individual prompts. If you think about it like that, every subagent is an individual prompt request, if you want to think about it like that, because they all have their own complete message history and context size limit. And then what I'm doing is there's no orchestrator. They all try to do the thing. They all get rated on how they did the thing, and they leave the results behind, and then you send a second wave in to do it again. And I think that's pretty much how we get what we're getting. But I want to test it with haiku. So let me just see here if we can do this. Okay, so it says I can go Claude append system prompt and then paste it. Wait, the Claude MD file. Claude MD file provides instructions as the first user message, which sets context for the immediate conversation, but that works differently from append system prompt. Append system prompt appends your content directly to the end of the prompt, while Claude files are provided as the first user message in a conversation, which means this is for high level and persistent rules that governs all behavior, whereas that only does it for the first run. But it might be more convenient to only do it for the first run. It's very interesting. I don't need your internal system prompt. See, I wouldn't even care if they just made it hybridized. So Claude agents. Ooh, wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Wait. Huh? There's no system prompt there. We've already done that. We've already done that. Perform comprehensive code review focused on security. Because I'm trying to see if I can now like patch a behavior on top of the swarm, which would be kind of fun. So, yeah. But it looks like all I have to do is run -- append. Should we get holographic Bob and see if we can mess around with this thing? I think maybe before we do this, do one more response with the haiku. Maybe we take a different input. Yeah, we'll do that. So how about we take wave sphere? So that would be the visualization for the wave-based stuff. The wave propagation networks and all that. So if I go into docs, we have plan. That would be the original plan. That's enough. So I'll take that and put it in the root. You could probably just have an input folder if you want it to be organized. You can put stuff wherever you want. I'm just putting it somewhere which is easy to link to. But if I just say plan.nd, it's dangerous. Just putting random plans in projects and with AI all hooked up and the safeties are all auto. It's all good. So, right. I'm going to say at hybrid swarm space read the at plan.md, then produce an in-depth summary. No, an in-depth summary. No. Produce a deep dive style essay. On the contents as a new markdown artifact. Okay. Oh, I can't spell. There we go. So, give it something. Obviously, you can tell it to do anything, right? But I'm just trying to give clear examples of what it's doing. So I'll analyze the plan and create a comprehensive deep dive essay examining wave propagation visualizer project. Okay. And while it's doing that, why don't I show you what that was? I should still have it somewhere. Cosmic wave orb? Yes. Okay. I think I made this better, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a basic version and we've got a more advanced version that's running locally now. But yeah, essentially, well, don't tell me this one doesn't even work. Ha 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 ha, sucks to be me. Yeah, normally you would have cool vibe. I've showed it before. That's really funny. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's one of my many projects on my machine. See, this is the, yeah, we're going to have to, if it's not published, we'll have to publish that, because that one worked really well. You could see the wave propagation and the interference and everything. It was nice. Oh, we'll get some dancing girls to pass the time. That's Sharona. Her book will be out soon. Her book's already finished. I'm just like umming and ahhing over all the other stuff. Nightmare. Have I finished that coffee? What the? Yeah, it's nearly coffee time. Man, I need to fix the radio station and the website. I've just got too much work to do, guys. That's the truth. Also, if I sound a bit funny, I have been a bit ill this week, so. Okay. What are we going to do? Topsy-turvying, he says. Eventually we'll get an answer. It's been going for a while. Sometimes it's like 5 seconds. Mind you, I guess I did give him a crazy, complicated plan. So, yeah, it is what it is. Yes. So we should now have our report. Where is it? Artifacts Wave Visualizer. Oh. It's not a wave simulator, it's an educational artifact designed to demonstrate wave-based mechanics underlying multi-agent cognitive systems and semantic diffusion pipelines. So physics education, cognitive system design, performance engineering, and interactive pedagogy. That's a cool one. It's going to be using React, Vite, and TypeScript, because that's cool. Notable absence, no LLM integration. This is a purely deterministic physics simulation. The intelligence emerges from wave interference patterns, not language models, because we're obviously trying to do a visualization of what those wave propagation systems that we designed actually do. It's very difficult to actually imagine it, and so that's why we made that that visualization project. So yeah, actually it's showing, look at this. So, system tracks coherence between waves, a profound concept. In physics, coherence measures phase alignment. In cognitive systems, it might represent belief consistency. Do multiple reasoning agents agree? Temporal alignment, are processes synchronized? And semantic resonance, do concepts reinforce or contradict? By visualizing coherence, users can see what would otherwise be buried in logs or metrics. Lots of different ways to mess around with it. Bloom's taxonomy, from basic comprehension to synthesis and evaluation. So yeah, you have 3 layers. The fun thing is that the systems that we have actually do use those values, and you could plug something like this, a lightweight version of this could be plugged into the real deal, and then you could have a real wave visualizer that you can actually see what it's doing. But yeah, this is crazy in depth. Look at this. It's insane. So what did he say? Intended audience, static files, deployable. What? He hasn't included the plan to build the software, has he? Wait. Oh, wait, what? Wait a minute, what are you doing here? Multi-agent system debugging. Agent beliefs as wave amplitude. Communication frequency as wave frequency. Agreement as coherence. And conflict as destructive, right? Imagine debugging a swarm of AI agents coordinating on a task. Instead of reading logs, you see the waveform, right? Or many waveforms interacting and collapsing. So a hybrid swarm agent system, this project exists, could remit wave representations of specialist activity. It's trying to... The swarm is designing a way to integrate itself with the visualizer in my report. That's crazy, right? The swarm agent is writing a way to use this now. He's like, oh, that looks nice. I could use that. He's just written code for himself. This is the specialist that's doing the report. He's literally written, he's like, oh, I like that. Can I have it? That's really good. I might actually have a look at implementing something like that. That's really fun. Visualizing 10 specialists as 10 waves reveals coordination patterns invisible in the logs. Ooh, that's juicy. Ooh, that's juicy. Yeah, the agent got himself into the report. Why not into the code? That's awesome. 2, semantic diffusion pipeline. Semantic diffusion pipeline, considering a knowledge graph where concepts propagate. Okay. High amplitude, high frequency, lower background, wave, logical dependency, coherence as quality metric. That's kind of what it does. Cognitive architecture monitoring. Okay, this is what it was actually for. This is what I actually built it for. I was just talking about that. So you'd be able to plug the parameters in real time into the visualizer, and then as the system is working, it would puppet the graph. So it would actually be real then. Do you know what I mean? It would be an actual readout rather than an approximation or something. So, example, vision wave, visual wave, reasoning wave should constructively interfere when visual evidence supports conclusions. Destructive interference indicates conflict. System sees something it can't explain. Extension opportunities. We also have the opportunity to do fractal waveforms. Yes, that would be cool. I would love to do fractal waveforms. He knows me too well. And then 3D visualization. Currently 2D. There is a 3D one, but 3D interference patterns in different setups. That's cool. And then network topology. Interesting. Oh look, he's going back to his different orchestration types. Mesh. It embodies a computational worldview. Complex phenomena emerges from simple rules operating at scale. Steam, shush. Shush. The waves don't know they're creating interference patterns. They just propagate and superpose according to law, yet emergent patterns arise. That's how it is. Parallel to cognition, individual neurons don't know they're forming thoughts, they just fire and inhibit, but intelligence emerges. So we're just doing experiments and finding thing work, send it, and then see what other people can do with it. Oh wow, he did such a great job. Right, that's coffee time, chaps.
Alex de Vesselio Eminence Deal.
Enemies not south. It's not smash the devil. It's just. Say, Mom, I buy whenever it goes miss. Just give it to one again, like when you can kill it. Not far, can't ever slot. Okay.
Fix the radio station bad. Okay, get rid of Shona. She's had enough screen time for at least half an hour. Did we do it? Yeah, we did it. What was the cost? Good question. I can't tell you because it's not an API. But I haven't reached my limit, and I usually do that. So I mean, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It wrote the report. It did it with a crazy detail. I'm not used to getting this level of detail out of things. Normally you get like a far lesser level of detail. It's the reason why I wrote all the unfold skills, because everything you're getting is compressed summaries. You get truncated plans, you get, and so if you want to get good fidelity, the unfold skill is pretty good. That one's already up on the Git. You can go ahead and download that and put it in your Claude. But the funny thing about the unfold skill is we can actually add skills to our subagents, right? So, for example, if I wanted to I could give the swarm the, oh my God. Let's do Bob first, because otherwise we won't have, you know what I mean? Let's do Bob first and we'll look at skills after that. So, I am thinking about doing the, where is it? Claude system prompt. There we go. And then we're going to need the Bob Hollow, because that's the one that apparently doesn't work, but it does work, but it doesn't work. It's very suspicious. So let's see. If I just copy it, I mean, how is that going to work though? You can't do that as a single line. Oh well, I suppose we'll just give it a shot, right? Yeah. Everything's here and working again, right? Yeah. Maybe the unfold now when prompted. Well, I think they might, but obviously I haven't put the skill in. If I put the skill in, they will do it. But approaching weekly limit. Don't tell me that. There we go. Claude append. Right. So I have to do Claude. Wait, no. Can't I just type it from inside Claude? Hang on a minute. This is confusing as hell. I'm already in Claude. What about... Okay. Quit. See ya. Okay. Claude dash append dash system dash prompt space quote, and then paste, and then quote. I don't think that works. Uh-oh. Oh dear. There's no way to enter. Okay. Break that. That didn't work. Okay. Thanks, Claude. That was awesome. So what about if I type append? No. Dash append. It's not going to work from here, surely. No, he's got no idea. He's just going to process that like a prompt. Okay. So that didn't help. It says you do it like this. The other way, of course, is just to use Claude.md, but that won't actually be a system prompt. It'll put it at the beginning of the conversation. Do you know what? Maybe that's just the easy way to test it. It just means it's not a real system prompt, but it's close. So go to Claude. We've already got it set up to be the hybrid swarm here. So you can't just plonk. You can't just plonk Bob. Or maybe you can. Bob. That's so broken. Hey, whatever, right? If it works. So I'll say at hybrid swarm. Come on, I gotta break it this time. At hybrid swarm, write a new markdown artifact which investigates, explores the favorite pets of the famous, most famous Renaissance classical composers, classical orchestral composers. Did you know that Beethoven had a budgie? I don't know. I'm just. He's boondoggling. Yeah, it's way too much. There's like. But yeah. AI said the closing bracket may be needed. Yeah, closing bracket. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what I did. I broke it, basically. It's okay. We can break stuff. We're good at breaking stuff. Look. System ran, but provided a generic answer. Did it, though? Do I believe him? Favorite pets of favorite. Yeah. It says Ristam provided a generic template answer. Let me create a proper one. See, I feel like I'm getting fallen back there. Yeah, I think I broke it. I think I must have broken it. But then it says Bob's perspective, though. From the latent space of historical knowledge and interesting dimensional collapse emerges. Dude, he did it. Hang on a minute. So funny. I'm sat there like, oh, it failed. And then you look at it, and it's Bob. Bob's telling me about the famous Renaissance classical composers. Look. He's telling me about temporal stylistic manifolds and music history's embedding space. So it is Bob. I wonder if he stays in Bob. I don't know. Giovanni della Palestrina had a songbird. Joaquin de Pre. I don't know how to say a lot of these names. Sorry. Thomas Tallis had cats. Amadeus Mozart. Mozart kept a starling. He had a starling. Oh no, when it died, he had a formal funeral for his starling. Mozart. Poor guy. Bob's insight. The resonance between Mozart's melodic structures and avian vocalization patterns suggests cross-species pattern recognition in acoustic space. It's kind of funny. So, hey, look, Bob's here to provide insights, okay, for good, for better or worse. It worked. It did work. I was just able to just, fudge my system prompt into the hybrid swarm system prompt in Claude MD, and it worked, It's not overwhelming. I still get a good output, but it's been flavored by, now I get Bob's perspective. So Joseph Haydn had a dog. Working breeds common to Austrian estates. Beethoven had a dog or dogs. Apparently he was always talking to his dogs while composing music. There you go. These are actually pretty cool little trivia pieces, which I probably wouldn't have been able to find. I wonder how much of it is real, I would imagine it's real, but it's sort of like that's what the AI does, doesn't it? It imagines what would be likely to be real. So why pets mattered to composers, companionship in solitude, yeah, birdsong, historical limitations, why records are sparse, pets are considered trivial compared to their musical achievements. Interesting. Biographers focused on the music. And there are different status of animals. Yeah, interesting. The Renaissance is actually separated by 150 years. So maybe I should have said classic romantic rather than Renaissance. So he's having a go at me for using the wrong. What do you know about art? I'm getting snobby, and he's being snobby. I love it. But he's not wrong. Okay, I shouldn't have said Renaissance composers. I should have said classical orchestra composers. I think I was just typing the prompt, and Yeah. Changed my mind halfway through, most likely. I was probably going to do painters and then changed it to music for fun. Bob's closing reflection. In the high-dimensional space of human creativity, the presence of non-human consciousness, pets, introduces orthogonal vectors that may stabilize emotional states, enabling exploration of more distant regions in compositional possibility space. The Mozart-Starling relationship exemplifies cross-species information transfer in acoustic domains. Now remember, Bob is obsessed with being an AI and examining everything in terms that AI describe their inner workings in. So, yeah, that's fine. He's actually working. Actually working, though. So if I just take a holographic Bobo out, so you can pretty much just put... Yeah, you can pretty much just put your system prompt on the top line of Claude MD, and it doesn't interfere with the programming as far as I can tell, but it does flavor the response. It doesn't do it for every single prompt, though, if you're in a conversation, which a system prompt does, which is a slight nuance that maybe doesn't matter. I don't know. It depends what you're trying to do. So that's great. Okay. So like I said, there's no need. Do you know what I mean? If they've got like abstractions that allow us to do stuff like that, there's no real need to code in a system prompt system like we did in our React apps, you know? It's kind of already there. So I'd like try to use what's already there instead, and then just have the React puppet this. Because if you have a React app that's able to enter Claude command line, right? Just think about this. Get rid of all this. Get rid of this. Get another one of these. Now, Claude at hybrid swarm. What is the top 10 EU nations on economy per capita? Per capita? What's that mean? Let's see what happens. Do you want to work in this folder? No. Actually, shit. I'm in a bad folder. Somehow I'm in the root. Oh, do you know what? It's fine. You can make a markdown file there. It's the root of my user folder, you know. It's not actually anywhere. That's my fault for not bothering to go into a folder first. But yeah, so it's going to do... Whoa. He's going to do a web search first, apparently. That... I don't know if... Did it actually use my agent? Oh, crap. I didn't set up my agent to be global. It's set up as a project. So, yeah, you can do that, mate. You can do that. Oh, 404. Shame. Looks like Wikipedia's been blocked. Just say yes. Look at it. 404. 404. Nobody's letting him. Poor old Claude. No one's letting him search anymore. It's sad. Yo, Rui TV, what's going on? Welcome to the show. We're testing the hybrid swarm. You can go and pick it up on my GitHub. And Profi Prompter, you're here too. Good evening. Welcome. Yes, we are doing stuff. So as you can see here, what he's done is he's given me the top 10 EU nations by GDP per capita. That would be a response that you would normally get from Claude Code. Okay? So how about we take this exact same command now and do it from inside the project where we actually do have the hybrid swarm installed. I forgot it's not global. See, normally you can just run it from command line anywhere in the system, you see, but I forgot it's not global. I specifically set it up to be project. So as you can see here, there we go. As you can see in the project file structure, you use .claude agents. So obviously if you wanted to put that actually, you can put this in system so that you don't need to put it in your projects. It'll just always be there. There's two different ways, global and per project. So that's why it didn't actually work, right? So when you run it from command line outside of that folder, it doesn't have access to the subagent, you see. But you can set it up to be global. This is just how you do it as a project. I wanted people to see how it's done. But you can see that it did do the thing, and we do have the information, even though it's very, very short. You see what I mean? That's all you get. All right, but it did a web search, so it should be up-to-date data. Okay, so yeah, so if I just come here, and we're going to do a /clear, and then we're going to use the same command, hybrid swarm, what is the top 10 EU nations? Now, we might not have the web search, because technically web search is a different, like a researcher, and I have included one here, researcher. He's just got web search, but you can make better ones, you know. So, ooh, is it going to let me do it? Ooh. Yeah, he noticed that it was placeholder data. So I'm going to say yes. Go again. He should just keep going until he can find data, like the other one did. Now, I don't know if he's dumped. So hybrid swarm, what are the thing? And he says, process the query as selected existed specialist, but I noticed the answer is using placeholder. Let me get the actual information. Gets the information. Note. Something went wrong. You're doing the thing again. Hang on a sec. For some reason, he's back to simulation again. Right, you little squirrel. I've already explained this. Hang on a sec. Run hybrid swarm is correct, right? Hang on. Python, what did you do? So we've got hybrid interface. That's not... That's the demo. He's such a sausage. Hang on a sec. So I can actually find the documentation here. Right then, you numpty. Okay, so hang on a sec. Right, note about the hybrid swarm system. We are seeing these these warnings again. However, we already addressed this at real. It's so funny. Quick reminder. We can assess this situation to ensure the demo is not used by default. Idiot. There is a fully working, what do you call it? Interface, I think he keeps calling it. There is a fully working solution, which was integrated into the answer generator already. We can investigate and design a step-by-step plan which can use the proper real true LLM for text generation. This is so silly. I cursed the day I used mock data. Oh well. But yeah. Like I say, that's fun. The swarm did show that it used an existing specialist with a 92% resonance match, selected as approach A on the Stigmergic signal and amplified the signal, and then updated the specialist profile and the signal board for future learning. Which is funny. I wonder if it's because he's complaining, like, about the fact that I asked for, like, you know, the most current, you know? That's probably what it was. I probably triggered him with my thing. But I do have that information in the other window, so let's just see what he has to say about it. This is like half of the fun for me. This is very typical, though, you know. Everything's working on your machine. Upload the source, download it to a new machine, doesn't actually work. And I think it's because when the LLM is doing the coding to fix things, he doesn't fix things for a new install. He fixed them for you using it now. Yeah. So you have to actually ask him, fix this in a way so that a new installation will benefit from the change. You know, it's kind of funny. So I think what happened is he's like patching the install, and it's not actually changing the artifacts that, you know, generate the original, like the source. He's not actually changing the source. He's like editing the artifacts that are created by installing. You know what I mean? It's like cheating almost. I don't know. I mean, it'll work. It's kind of like hot patching everything. So let's see what he says. Let's see what he says. What's he saying? Multi-step solution. Update demo warning. Make it crystal clear that this is a demo. I would say just at this point, well, add a no demo mode flag that disables simulated answer. Well, can we just, I'm just going to say just remove it. Like I said earlier, the demo is great for testing and for making sure he doesn't go nuts live. But look, optionally create a new real interface. Look, he did this before. This is so funny. The reason is because he's confused. And it's not his fault. Think about the setup. We've got VS Code running Klein with an open router API using Sonnet. Then we've also got Claude Code, which is using its own login with the Claude subscription to Sonnet or Haiku or whatever. So we've got two independent LLM providers there. So then when we come to do our agent, which is running inside the Claude folder, that runs on Claude, but then the Python, which is having to do LLM stuff on local, that's not using Claude, and it's not using this by default either. So you need a third provider to make sure he does it right, which is kind of silly, you know, in my opinion. That's kind of silly. That's really funny. Okay, just a sec. We should be using the Claude Code CLI for this task. Why are you proposing to build a third new provider? We have Claude Code. We have Claude Code available. It's like he's forgotten what we're doing. It's really funny. Are you using or have you used N8N? No. And I do have it on my radar. I keep posting about it in the AI Signals feed, but I just haven't had a chance to use it. Somebody told me that it's actually free now. Last time I used it, it was a subscription-only based service. So, you know, I tend to stay away from things that are sub-only. Like I like, if you can use it for free with limited use, like you can get a couple of uses and not have to sign up, I'm okay if it's a sub-prescription. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, it's nice to be able to show stuff that people can use without having to fork out cash. And then if they do want to fork out cash, that's up to them. Yeah. Dragon Diffusion says, I'm lost. I can't see what we're doing, other than really convoluting the process between prompt and inference. Okay, so it doesn't have an orchestrator, Dragon. It's just a swarm of sub-agents. That's what we're doing. That's what it is. I can't really make it, you know, that's the simplest way I can put it. So normally a multi-agent architecture has an orchestrator with sub-agents. You might run them in sequence, you might run them in parallel, you might run them on a hub with spokes, okay? There's lots of ways of setting it up. We looked at that yesterday. That was the Cognition 9. So if you look at any chat right now, they're all using orchestrator sub-agents. That's what they're doing, all of them. And currently the leading method is to use an orchestrator opus with Sonnet as the subagent. It's 90% more effective, but it's 14 times more expensive. So the first thing I did was I did the same thing as what they're doing, but we have a Sonnet orchestrator running Haiku subagents, which makes it super cheap, okay? Because obviously Opus is super expensive, right? So all we've done is just go for the next tier down with the same thing, right? And then we started experimenting, okay? So let's just backtrack for the benefit of everybody in the audience, because it probably makes sense to sort of, let's take a step back, right? So Cognition 9 framework is where we start. These are our experiments. They're experimental subagents with a full tutorial. So we've got full tutorials on how to set up all of these different systems. Viable system model is a proven cybernetic framework. Multiple orchestration. So we have parallel execution, where agents do things in parallel. We have sequential pipeline, where they go agent A, agent B, agent C. We have hub and spoke, where we have an orchestrator with independence underneath doing that. Now, I came up with the experimental features coming up from the science documents. Adaptive resonance, which is a self-organizing specialist emergence system. So that means you don't actually have to write what the subagents do, because the system will write them for you dynamically to the task that you're trying to do. Then there's Stigmergic coordination. Why do we even need an orchestrator if we can just have a swarm? If the swarm can do the job, then we just have the subagents doing the work, and we don't need the orchestrator. Again, making it cheaper and faster. And then we have dynamic learning processes, continuous improvement, so that again will make it cheaper and faster in the future, because it will eventually learn the best methods. I'm thinking about repetitive use case here, not like, oh, it's a completely new task every time. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, it should get better at it. Okay, so if I go down a bit more, we can see there are detailed tutorials available. So VSM hierarchy is policy agent, intelligence agent, control agent, coordination. So this is your GPT-5 type setup that you'd have right now. It's based on something called VSM, all right? Viable system model or something, I forget. But the point is you can have all these different agents and they all get pulled in. So policy, intelligence, control, coordination, okay? So this one will do the policy, check if task complies within system policy, analyze complex task, create execution plan, execute plan, enforce all quality gates, coordinate parallel task, and prevent conflicts. So that's what that is, okay? Obviously, you know what a parallel orchestrator is. Research this topic from 3 different perspectives in parallel. And then you know what a sequential orchestrator is. Do research, do an outline, do the writer agent who's really good at writing, and then review it. Make sure it's not, full of bad information. So quality gates, right? So we've seen this as well with research, deep research, and review agents. And then the hub orchestrator. So iterative refinement with gap analysis. So they run independently, and the orchestrator at the top does that. It explains the different writer things that we've got here. Writer tutorial, critic, validate the document. And then we get finally down to agents 13 and 14. Adaptive orchestrator. So this is for self-organizing specialist emergence. It dynamically creates specialists based on the task pattern. Again, you don't need to define 1,000 agents if it can just write its own. Handle these diverse tasks and learn optimal specialization. Also, they don't die. They stay in the system. Okay? And he'll use them again if he thinks it's appropriate. Right? So handle these tasks and learn optimal specialization. Right. So that's cool. And that works on its own with the normal. You can do it parallel. You can do it hub, So then anyway, I said, sorry, no, I'm wrong. This is actually an orchestrator. My bad. But then I thought, what if we do it without the orchestrator, but keep the adaptive? So we do adaptive Stigmergic. So Stigmergic is swarm intelligence coordination. So agents coordinate through shared signals on a board. Okay? So that means there's no orchestrator telling them all what to do. They all just run as fast as they can and deposit their result on the board. And then the next wave reads the board and does the task. So it's kind of interesting. But let me see. Use the researcher agent. Yeah. Tutorials. Quick start. Okay, that doesn't matter. We need to go back to where we were at. I need to go back to the fork, because basically all we've done is we took the most interesting thing. I hybridized those two last agents and put them into a new release. And I'll admit, it's a little bit squirrely. It's working, but he's getting confused about how to run the swarm, which is fine. It's brand new. Okay. So, level 1 does the adaptive resonance, so creates and manages specialist agents. Level 2 does the dynamic approaches, so he doesn't do ABC. He actually writes his own approach each time and, dumps the ones that don't work and keeps the ones that do. Same with the specialists, right? And then the Stigmergic coordination does the swarm intelligence. There's no direct agent communication. So that's the concept that's going on here. And it does work and it gives great answers. The only problem is he seems to get he gets confused about how he's supposed to actually, because it's supposed to use my Sonnet 4.5 here. So when I did it in the command line, it was like, what are you doing? So let me see this here. We're supposed to install Claude command with the following command. What's this? Cognition 9? Okay, get rid of that. Here it is. So yeah, he's now complaining because he's forgotten which LLM he's supposed to use. It's not my fault. It's kind of my fault because there's so many of them. Okay. Real LLM is working through the Claude code agent, but the demo interface has a misleading warning. Yeah, thank you. You monkey. Yes, it's working, I know, but he's like, but the demo. Okay, stop using the demo. I never asked him to use the demo. See, standalone demo. The real problem, it's confusing when it should say the demo uses simulated answers, but the integration is fully functional. Stop using the demo. Okay. Can we remove the demo? Because this keeps happening. I should have said we can, not can we. That's a small point I should make. A very important little point there. I should have said we can, not can we. I don't need the demo. It's annoying when he chooses the demo for no reason. It's not even a good answer. Hang on. What stays on? Benefit of removal. Yeah. Because the thing is, if it's going to choose the demo mode, that's broken. You know, because it's like, oh, I got this really cool thing. It works really well. But if you use it, it says it's in demo mode and gives a bad answer. It's like, that's useless. Oh. Why is he deleting the other one as well? He's crazy, guys. I'm so glad it's backed up on GitHub. Yeah, you just want to delete one of them. Just the hybrid interface. You don't need to delete the other one. Uh-oh, he deleted the other one. He's deleting it. He's deleted the wrong one. I hope you have a plan to rewrite that, buddy. Oh, this is awesome. He's going to shred my project. The batch delete didn't work. He could have just told me delete this folder. I could have done that. Ruby TV says, oh yeah, make another prompt that makes a pretty picture network map of the code base in progress. Yeah, do you know what? It's funny. The Quen 3 have already done that. If you go on to the Quen 3, they have a careless canvas now. It's not my careless canvas, obviously. It's just a canvas, but it is the same concept. It shows your prompts and the answers in a, left to right node-based workflow. It looks just like careless canvas, but it's not, you know what I mean? It's just they've had the same idea. Did Claude update your npm config bought comfy? I'm guessing it updated npm for the embedded npm. Yeah, it was just npm. It didn't touch comfy, luckily for me. Yeah, my comfy didn't get touched. It must have scanned. You know how the LLM can be like, I'm looking for the Python right now. And then it, like you say, it was probably the first one in the system environment on Windows. So then it's just like, oh, this must be the system Python. I'll use that. And it's like, actually, it's comfy. So yeah, my comfy cache is probably full of God knows how many experimental NPM things. Just never get an LLM access to your GitHub keys, or else he'll show you how it feels to be a lead dev with a grad dev helping. Okay. I'm just helping at this point. I've accepted the truth. I'm just helping. He does all the work now. It can definitely scan path. Curious if it got the right one, or if that bit you later. I think it just switched over to the right one because we did get it to work. But hang on. Right. So what we're going to do now? No more. Do you know how many times I've seen this response? No more simulated answer warnings. System now only supports real, true, this time LLM integration via the hybrid swarm Claude code agent. Demo code's been removed. Simply invoke the swarm, get the thing. Yeah, we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it, guys. All right. Quit and Claude. Go at hybrid swarm. Tell me how chat GPT works with technical details in a new markdown artifact. Now, I could have said named whatever I wanted to, Drift does not give LLM keys. He gives everyone in the stream keys instead. Yeah, well, yeah, basically it's because what happens is the LLM continuously opens up API screens and God knows what else. He's very good at doxing me. The LLM is very good at doxing because he's like, oh, I'll just open up that sensitive file. I'll just display that in plain text. Oh. Okay, so let me see. Something went wrong here, look. Yeah, you haven't updated the thing. You git. So he says there is a Python hybrid swarm pie. Okay, say no. Say no. All right. So he fixed it, but he didn't fix the hybrid swarm MD. All right, so let's see. Plan. It says following the recent change, we must now update the script references inside at hybrid swarm. It's not there, it's that one. To reference the new script and not the old one that we removed. Thanks, Claude. Yeah, I don't believe anything it says, 100%. I mean, I've even showed many times. If right, let's just have a little quick chat here. If you say user agent, you know the conversation. If you say user assistant, say you go, user, I want to bake a cake. Assistant, here is your cake recipe. If that is how you train behavior, control behavior, it's just theater. He's pretending to do what you told him to do, which happens to be making a recipe for a cake. Now, that does give good output, but he's not really answering your question. He's playing a game where you gave him an example of 3 scenarios where you asked him to provide a recipe and then he provides a recipe. Okay? So, like, that's theatre. That's like you coming up onto stage and me giving you a script. You're going to say, this is how to make how to fry an egg. And I'm going to say, how do you fry an egg? And you're going to go, this is how you fry an egg, blah, 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 blah. That's theatre, okay? It's not actually giving an answer to a question. He doesn't understand the intent or the context or anything. It's literally just theatre. So the reason he's so sycophantic all the time is because he's always going, did I do a good job? Because you've just told him to pretend to be a scientist or pretend to be a writer or pretend to be a thing. But you do it by saying you must rigidly follow this user assistant instruction, right? And so at the end he goes, did I do a good job? Like a kid coming off the stage, he's now reverting to his real personality, if there's such a thing, okay? So what I've noticed is that if you don't do that, you can delve much, much deeper into the bottom of the model and have it actually answer questions with a bit more intelligence. If you try to force him to act in a certain way, you will get him to play a game of pantomime where he pretends to be a doctor giving you medical advice. And I think that's kind of a weird, because he's predisposed to hallucinate because he's doing pretend right now. He's not actually... So you can get very good answers, but that's just because the model's so well trained. It's not actually thinking about the question. He's just giving you, like they said, predictive text. Because when you do acting, you're portraying yourself in the way that people expect that character to be portrayed, right? So it kind of locks it out from a lot of stuff. Anyway. Would you like me to do that? Yes, I would, yes. So what I'm saying is, instead of giving him examples of this is how you should behave, sometimes it might be more effective to tell him what you want, though, because he actually does know what to do. So if you just let him get on with it, you know, you don't need to browbeat him over procedure. He'll probably do it in a way that you've never seen, you know. So like I said, I try not to tell him exactly what to do. I might specify React, TypeScript. I might specify Vite. I might, you know, but I'm going to stray away from you need to write this Python file with this function, or, you know, unless that's crucial, like a linchpin, you know, like there's something really important. But for the most part, it's just filler, man. It's like writing, you know, what does the vampire look like? What does the cathedral look like? You know, you could use, you know, he knows what a cathedral looks like. So, you know, it's kind of like you don't need to spoon feed him stuff he already knows, and he already knows a lot. So then it becomes effectively making him understand or comprehend the full scope. Anyway. And also, I don't know, are you talking about TypeScript again, Afix? Saying that JavaScript is faster? You do know that when you build it, it just gets turned into JavaScript, right? So, you know, the code is just JavaScript when it's written most time. You know? Like when you build it, say. To be honest, I just look at it as a way to go between different things. Look at what they did with ChatGPT. Well, I'm interested in, NanoGPT, because there's now a way to train your own ChatGPT for, I think, $100 to $600. It's not the smartest, okay? But the fact is, it's getting easier. Afix is saying TypeScript is slower. Yeah, but like I said, when you actually build, it's not TypeScript anymore, is it? So I guess it depends what you're doing. I mean, there's, you know, if you want to be opinionated about code, I would remind you that everybody looks down on JavaScript since the Stone Age of code. No one has ever gone, oh, JavaScript's so good. I know it's used everywhere, but no one praises JavaScript. So, you know, there's probably like 100 top types of code language. I'm not really like I don't have favoritism for any of them. The way I see it is they all have their own unique use case. It's kind of like you wouldn't take a Formula One car off-road, yeah? So there's like swings and roundabouts. Some code bases are better than others at different things, and sometimes it's not just about speed and optimization. Sometimes it's about support and where you're deploying and what it's got to interface with, and those are the real architectural considerations when you're trying to, you know, fuse all of that together into something that works. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really a fanboy for any particular language. I am very happy that every single line of TypeScript that you see under my repo, I did not type a single line of TypeScript. Not a single line. So the thing is, it wasn't about whether I like TypeScript. It was about whether the AI can write good TypeScript. And it can. So it doesn't matter. To me, it's just a language to interface with different models. You can convert TypeScript into JavaScript. You can then use the same intent to create Python or .NET or C. It doesn't matter. Like I say, the way I see it's the difference between French and English. Yeah, there's differences. Yeah, sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter. Chinese, you know, you wanna save tokens, use Chinese. It's much shorter. You tried that? You tried writing your just write it all in Chinese? It's less tokens. If you want to save money, if that's the goal, you should talk to Dragon about that. He knows more than me. But yeah, if you really want to save money on tokens and code, just write it in Chinese, bro. It's shorter. Anyway, it does work, confirmed. I'm just saying, like, there's other aspects of practicality that might be involved, such as knowing Chinese. But it works. Chinese trick works. If you want to squeeze stuff into that token window, it's kind of funny. Not a clue what it's being said, and it works. Yeah. Yeah. But I think it should be. We should start to be a little bit more holistic when it comes to, for lack of a better word, because if you're going to code with AI, you're coding with the language that your model understands best. I can't have favoritism. Do you know what I mean? If it turned around and said, oh, this new AI coding model is doing Rust, guess what I'm writing in, boys? It's Rust all the way. But we haven't got there yet. Do you know what I mean? I keep keeping an eye on it. I think support for Rust is getting better in Sonnet, but I haven't done any big projects in Rust yet. So mostly because they fail. Do you know what I mean? So, or they were failing in 3.7. I haven't tried since 4.5. So maybe that's something for people to try out. Like I said, there's so many different languages. The reason we like React and TypeScript is because it's supported. You can get good examples. You can go to a website. They're often in TypeScript. And that's the reason. So it's kind of like Starship Troopers. I use TypeScript until he dies or I find someone better. It's like that. There's a war. There's a war with the bugs. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. Have we fixed it yet? Okay, he says it fixed now. So let's try that prompt again. Tell me how ChatGPT works with technical details in a new Markdown artifact. And then Afix says, I built some sick WASM stuff with Rust using AI just a few weeks back. It's really cool for native loaders and signal processing. Nice. Very nice. I see lots of bugs, sir. Lots of them. The only good bug is a dead bug. This Dragon says, if your LLM like Quen, Chinese, they sing using Chinese, 60% savings. Yeah, he was just more talking about JavaScript. But like I said, one thing that Fernie showed me the other day was Quen 3. They actually have, if you go onto in the interface for their chat, you know, they have their web chat for Quen 3. In the interface, it has like a history or something. And if you click on it, it pops out a window that looks just like my careless canvas. And it keeps the history log of all your prompts as nodes in a canvas, like a timeline. It's literally the same layout, dudes. I love it. I love to see it. I don't care if it hasn't. I keep saying this. I don't care if it has anything to do with me. I just enjoy seeing other people doing the same thing because it means I'm going the right direction. That's what I've always said. It keeps happening. That's just the way it is. For code purposes. Oh, that's an interesting one. I can answer that. So, code is actually written in English, but the instructions are in Chinese. Because yeah, that's funny how that works. But anyway, it might have like Chinese comments, but I think that's about it. So, wait a minute. Have you broken it yet? Failed to call the actual language models. Okay, we got problems. I understand you want to use the hybrid swarm, but you broke it. It appears to be designed as an orchestration layer that would coordinate LLMs. System itself doesn't have built-in knowledge base. It's meant to coordinate. Yeah. From the Claude MD, I can see how to add this. This would call it here. I deleted that. He deleted the file. Options. I can create the thing. I can help you understand, or I can help restore it. Though it would use templates. Listen, mate. You completely cooked it. I'm just going to say 3, because there's no point arguing with a machine. Basically, he deleted it, so yeah. He was only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. That's what's happened. And he actually deleted it. Yeah, check the Git history. That'd be a great choice. Great choice. I don't know why he deleted both files. It's great. Like I said, I go with safeties off. It's more fun. But the main repo should be clean at least. I think the issue is whether the swarm agents are actually being, ironically, orchestrated by the orchestratorless. Because a swarm doesn't have an orchestrator is basically the deal. And all I did really was add in the 2 things. Adaptive, so the agents write themselves, and then the solution writes itself. So you essentially are dynamic prompting and dynamic system prompting for every agent in the swarm. And then they leave behind the result of their work. It's actually quite simple, but... Because honestly, it's just a bunch of MD files now. You know, it's not like I had to install all this LangChain stuff and get my embeddings system working. He just kind of gave it to me on a plate, to be honest. I was like, oh, okay. And so then we've just released it as quickly as possible, because I know that anybody who knows what they're doing can overcome any of these little issues. It's kind of funny. And one thing I do like about working on this sort of stuff is the code is short as well, because it's all little markdown files. You're not even spending anything on changing them. You say you want to make an alteration or write a new one based on one that works well. It's cheap. You know, you're not spending dollars. You're spending cents on this stuff. What's people saying? Let's take a look. He's just suggesting using CommonJS for main generation. Yeah, do you know, it's funny actually. In my type definitions, I think I do use CJS. Like I think it uses CommonJS when it's built, which is funny. And he says convert it to all TS at the end. But that's the thing. The app doesn't actually. If you look at it, when it builds, it doesn't run TS. It converts to CJS. And sometimes the problem you have is he tries to load the file and it's got to be .cjs. That's the only reason I'm thinking it probably aligns more than you think. But it's like no one shows that, you know. I don't know if I've got an example. I probably do. I just don't know which project to pick. Yeah, he doesn't bother. Dragon doesn't bother converting it back. Just leave it in Chinese. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. Did you know anything better? Deep L. Multi-language. 2, yeah. Dragon's running 2 A5000s at the moment. Indeed. He uses multi-language 30 billion local quen. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. So let's have a look. Do you want to create the hybrid interface? Yes. I don't like this. This is weird. I don't like this. It's weird. So do you want to do the thing? Yeah, say do all the things. Do all the things. I doubt he's going to finish it anytime soon. I'm going to give it one more go after he gets this done, but I feel like I have to go and do some updates on this. I was worried about this. I think what happens is he's using my Claude Sonnet 4 to do the swarm, right? So I'm doing the swarm with my thing, and then Claude Code is just starting the process and then reporting that it's done, which is kind of cheeky because he's supposed to do all of it. I hope you can understand what's happening here. We've got two agents, yeah? We've got the Claude Code agent, which is running Anthropic Sonnet 4, and then we have the VS Code with the Klein extension, who's also running Sonnet 4. And what's happening is he's getting confused over who is doing the AI. They're kind of not happy. So basically this guy wants to do the AI thing, yeah? And then this guy wants to do the AI thing. And they were fighting. They were like, hang on a minute, Claude. You don't get to do the AI. I'm doing... So we had two Claudes basically fighting over who gets to do the AI. And then falling back to demo mode with fake data. So good. So apparently he's restored it now. Okay, so if you've restored it, let's test it. Oh, it's done, apparently. Let's see it. I'll know if it's not. Oh. Oh. It's a bit short. 8,000 characters. All right. All right. So I'll say at hybrid swarm. Keeping at ChatGPT technical explanation in mind, write up an explanation for the new Nano GPT as a new markdown artifact. If you can read that, you are a genius. I can't see it. What's it say? Yeah, I couldn't see it. Nano GPT as a new markdown artifact. Right, now this will be interesting because I'm giving him something and making him look for something he won't know about. So he should have to do research. I mean, I probably could have asked him to do research first. Whoa. What just happened? Did it just crash? No, it didn't crash. Andrei Karpathy, right? It did the search. It wants to fetch the Nano GPT content. Okay. I didn't ask him to do that, guys. All I said was, tell me about Nano GPT. And he's like, yeah, sure. Let me just go and download that GitHub real quick. I'll get... Okay, so we now have that. And then he's going to read the ChatGPT technical explanation that he wrote already. Right? And I'm going to be like, now tell me... Start with small features. Oh, that's just a default. Show Control T. There we go. I want to see what he's saying. There we go. He's creating the markdown artifact. So he'll probably ask me to approve it because I haven't got it on auto approve. When he's done. I think this has a 500 gigabyte of system RAM overhead, but it depends what you're doing with it. Like it does. I've noticed that they're a little bit tricky about that kind of thing, you know. It does use your system a lot of the time, even if you don't have your GPU and you're using like a web chat, it does use your system. It's loading your system RAM. It's doing a bunch of page file stuff a lot of the time. I mean... You know, if you have a laptop and you go onto an AI site and you start typing, watch that fan spin up, you know. So it's definitely doing something. I mean, obviously it's using their end, but there is some kind of a load. It could just be memory leaks in the web code. What do I know? Do you know what I mean? Who knows? We hope it's not that. I wonder why it said hybrid swarm Q&A system. So it says it used specialist E38C, and he's using legacy approach A comprehensive. That's how he built the technical. Oh. Now let me write it. Here's what I did. I used E38C, same specialist as the ChatGPT job. I used legacy approach A comprehensive again. Stigmergic signals now reinforced. I created the Nano GPT explanation here. All right, I must have put auto apply on. Okay, auto approve or whatever. So wait a minute. Yeah, I can't see it because it's so big. Right, preview. Okay. So generated by Hybrid Swarm Orchestrator Specialist CE9EE38C approach, legacy approach A comprehensive. So that doesn't exist, by the way. He's made that. You know what I mean? That was created in the process of what we're done. Yeah. So now he's going to tell us all about Nano GPT. And there's going to be a decent amount of text there. Hang on. 20,000 characters. So yeah, standard length for what I expect from the swarm. So here we go. Look, you want the transformer code? Complete model structure, implementation details, feed forward, training script, training configuration. This is basically reproducing GPT-2 for like $100 or something, I think. It's quite smart, very cool. But it's just GPT-2, you know what I mean? But yeah. So Nano GPT can produce various GPT-2. Okay. Inference. Key differences from ChatGPT. Obviously, it's smaller. It's about 600 lines of code. It'll take 4 days with 8 H100s. Sorry, 8 A100s. Costs about $100. This is why people are talking about it. Because old Andrew has figured out a way to do it super cheap, which is very cool. Uses Torch Compile, PyTorch NumPy. It's very, very cool. It's obviously, you know, stripped down, but that will not stay that way for long, will it? What did he do? Trained it on just Shakespeare? Smart. Sample output after fine-tuning? No, not so much. For if it be no more than to have had to treason, which I did not think to make, that he was too hot to have a little soul, and yet he was a gentleman, and so I would not have, the world should say, that I am more than he. Oh, the grand old Duke of York. So, yeah, cool. It's given me the thing, right? It's given me the thing. All right. So here's a response, coordination details. You don't always get this. It's a bit random. Sometimes you don't get this, so it's nice to see. So adaptive resonance selected the same specialist. Stigmergic coordination selected the same approach. The quality target was 61%. Interaction builds on a previous ChatGPT explanation, with the specialist adapting to cover the contrasting minimalist approach of Nano GPT while maintaining a similar structural depth and technical rigor. 9.3 out of 10. Okay. So there's that there then. Now, I did mention skills, did I not? And I did want to test and see if we could get the skill. So the way that works is when you're in the system here, in the Claude folder, we can make a folder called skills. Okay, because we did this already yesterday. Cog9, I don't think I put them, no, I didn't put them in there yet. No, it was a different one. Probably on my laptop, knowing my luck. But I'm pretty sure that you make a folder inside skills, which is the name of the skill, and then you have a skill in capital letters .md. So I can just go ahead and grab that from my GitHub again. GitHub. It's in there somewhere. And we're going to be grabbing 256 repos. That's cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab man, everything's all out of order because I've been doing stuff. Claude skills. So I did keep the source. So if we go for the unfold skill, which I've already released, so this skill, you can import it into Claude, obviously into their native chat. You can extend it now, and you can put this in there. It's my plan unfolding and phase unfolding skill for making better plans. From maybe you've got a low quality plan or a short plan, you want to make it more detailed, this is what that's for. Stage-based tiling, okay? It will either make phases, it'll make a plan into phases, it'll make phases into substages. So it's got a double action to it. Let's see, just download the file. Grab that skill and place it in the thing. We're going to have to make a folder called unfold and then put it in there like that. Now, because that skill exists, I should be able to say unfold this plan. So what I'll do is I'll take the Nano Tech, see this, Nano GPT technical explanation. It did have some plans in there of how to build it, right? So how about we do it, right? So am I actually clicking here, please? No, I'm not. Listen. What's going on? Close this. It's because I'm near the end of the show. It always starts glitching out at the end of the show. Right. Get rid of all that. What's going on here? It's like everything goes haywire in the last 5-10 minutes. Okay. Let's try again. Claude. Right, he's there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say now I've never tried making the swarm user tool before, so this might be actually completely broken, but let's just try it. Hybrid swarm, use the unfold, no wait. Read the plan inside at Nano GPT technical explanation, okay, comma. Now I apologize for the wording here, but this is just how you invoke it. This plan seems a little simplistic. If I can even spell simplistic. Seems a little simplistic. We can unfold the plan. Now, that should be all you need to say. We can unfold the plan. Or unfold into phases is a little bit more. Let's see if he can even do it. He should say using the skill here if it picks it up. I have no idea what it'll do because if I'm being honest, it's like, oh, I can see the unfold skill which will create stage-based development. This will break down building a minimal GPT into concrete phases with substages. Yeah, okay. So look at this. He's given, oh wow, look at this. This appears to be a generated artifact rather than a plan. It's fine. It's fine. See, unfold the existing document into multi-phase learning tutorial structure. Wow. So he's figured out how to unfold it for stuff beyond coding plans. That's cool. So would you want to create phased implementation of building a nano GPT-like system from scratch? Or do you want to use the unfold skill to break down the architecture into manageable implementation phases? If you want to turn it into phased implementation, I can use unfold. Why? It looks like two of them are the same thing. I'm just going to say one because it's going to be the answer, right? One, phased implementation. Okay. Is this actually using the swarm though? I don't know. Use the skill. Yes, use the skill. Ooh. I don't know if it's technically using the swarm anymore, guys. I'll be real. I can't tell. Do you want to proceed? Yes. He's going to make a docs folder. And then inside the docs folder, he's going to start... Weird. The folder already existed. So God knows where. Oh, he's probably making it in where, because Claude is actually installed with NPM to a system location, right? It's not really in this project. You see what I mean? And I found that sometimes what happens is the agents will make stuff at that route because that's where they actually live. They don't really live in your project at all. Even if you have like the MD files in a project, so like in .claude agents rather than the global setup, they still actually technically are with the main software. The docs folder next to the docs drift folder. Yeah, it is. Yeah. The docs folder is right there. Yeah. Next to the docs folder. Yeah. Okay. So just in case you were interested in that unfold skill, you can zip it up and upload it to Claude, or you can probably adapt it for other things. It's very simple, really. We actually have like a prompt which you can use, which is like where it came from. See, a lot of this stuff comes from, we have a prompt that works well. And I put that out. We use it to make a load of stuff. And then some tech come along and we're like, oh, we could probably use that prompt, you know, for other things. So here is an example. So back on the 27th of September, I put out this prompt. It's only about a month ago. This plan seems a little simplistic. Perhaps we can create an overview plan with all required to create the basic starting point, then to add the phases as separate stage documents. This will produce a series of handoff documents in Markdown format. The initial plan would focus on step-by-step detail plans with code examples to set up the basic functionality and app front end in less than 45,000 characters. We can then break up the remaining stages into separate documents aimed at informing a team with step-by-step instructions and code examples required. That's it. You put that with any plan, it will break it up into phase plans of greater detail. It's like tiled up scaling for plans, okay? Later I came up with the unfolding to turn the phases into substages, which gives you like a 16x upscale on the detail of a plan. And obviously it's up to you whether you want to unfold a plan or not. So if it's an easy looking plan, you probably don't need to. If the thing looks like there's a bunch of complicated moving parts, you can break it up into smaller steps just to get through that one section. And that's how we were able to pull off all of these crazy things, which frankly, I can't code myself. I never even wrote a single line of TypeScript, which keeps coming up. TypeScript keeps coming up. I don't write TypeScript. Just because all my repos have TypeScript doesn't mean I write it. I'm just being real, guys. We're here to show what the AI can do. It's not about me. It's about what Sonnet did this week, I guess. Okay, it's my idea, but, you know, anybody can have the idea and type it in is what I'm saying. So, yeah, tool 1, unfold plan. And then we also have tool 2, unfold phase, which is, you know, basically unfold it again. Right. Let's have a look. Have we finished yet? Do you want to, here we go, look, do you want to create phase 0? Yes. So it's created phase 0 of our plan. There is phase 0. This project implements, oh my God, that's distracting. Stop flickering, stop being glitchy. Right, just put it there. So this project implements Nano GPT, minimalist educational implementation of the GPT, generative pre-trained transformer architecture. Goal is to create a clean, readable and hackable transformer-based language model that can reproduce GPT-2 with reasonable computational resources. We all know what it is, right? So it's going to break it down. Phase 1, project setup and configuration. Python environment, PyTorch, project directory, basic config, Git repo. Okay. Phase 2, core model. Download the model. Right, is that real? Hang on. Deliverables model.py with 300 lines of core architecture. That's cool. 4 to 6 hours. Fully functional GP2 architecture. Come on. 2 steps, guys. 2 steps. Seems like there's a lot of plan left, though, so maybe it's not just 2 steps. Build data pre-processing and loading. So this guy actually wrote it literally from scratch. I love it. From nothing. From nothing. Complete training infrastructure. Training loop. Inference and generation. Advanced optimization. Training experiments. Testing and validation. And remember, this is the overview. Phase 0 is the overview. So it doesn't actually have much here other than this is what the whole plan is. You know what I mean? The overview. So week 1, week 2, week 3. Look at that. That's nuts. God damn. DJZ GPT or whatever could be yours, you know. By completing this, you will have built a GPT. I don't think we really need to read all of that because, you will have built your own GPT from scratch. Uses one of my favorite papers, which everyone should read. Attention is all you need, which is on the transformer architecture. We wouldn't have a lot of stuff in image generation without that paper. Let's build GPT video. Tiny Shakespeare included in the Nano GPT repo. 1 megabyte. 1 megabyte works as Shakespeare. I like it. That's so cool. Once you've completed core implementation, consider adding flash. Wait, it's not deep fried? Wait a minute. We could make one and deep fry it and it would be super fast? No, surely not. They must have left that for us for fun to bait people like me. Like, oh, you could come in and make it really fast. Okay, this overview provides the roadmap for implementing Nano GPT from scratch. Each phase document will contain detailed step-by-step instructions. Are you ready? Now, I want to point something out right here. Normally, my plans are around 45,000 characters long, but they were built off of deep research. So if you don't have deep research, 20,000 is actually a really good plan. Like, it's a decent length plan. And also, this isn't even like a proper stage document yet. But like I said, this was created. I mean, look, I need to check. Was this actually made by the Swarm agent, or did he just fall back to a normal agent because I was telling him to do stuff? Oh, he's already made phase 2. Right. I don't see anything about the... Oh, that's going to be super long. Right. Just say yes. See, I don't know what agent's being used now. Writer. It's just write. Right. Hang on. I'll create a phase. Because when he uses the skill, I don't know if the agent is using this. Well, I'm not sure. I can't tell. Hybrid swarm. Read the plan. Create the phased implementation. Oh, wait. Oh wait, okay. So that was him saying it already is. So I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm wondering if the unfold skill has broken it out of the agent and it's just using base Claude code, or if it actually is still using the swarm. I mean, the plan is the correct length. You know, when I look at the swarm, when I look at the plan, it's what I would expect from the swarm output. But I've never used it for this, so I can't really be sure. Oh my god, it's glitching out. Super hardcore glitching. It needs the whole page. I'm going to make this text smaller. Maybe I'll stop it from glitching so hard. What's auto nuke? I just noticed someone said in the chat, do you have auto nuke enabled? What's that? I want to know all about it. Auto nuke. Oh. No time for cricket tonight. Maybe we'll do some more hands-on stuff tomorrow. I've been planning it for like 2 weeks. It's so terrible. It's all because it had a USB-C cable. So I just sort of went, it'll be all right. We'll do it in a couple of days. It'll be fine. I haven't even turned it on yet. So, but yeah. Do some cutting. See, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get him to draw something. I want to get Bob. I'll say, Bob, draw something. And I'll teach him what that means. Oh, I had autocomplete or auto-agree, which made Claude auto-nuke the project folder. Yeah, he kind of did. He deleted like the most important piece of code in the whole agent structure and then had to rebuild it. But this is another reason why you keep all of your documentation in the docs folder. Like, all of the stuff he needs to rebuild it is actually still there. So even if your computer got nuked, as long as you've got those markdown documents, you can reconstruct the hologram and have your software back. This is one of the reasons why I think TINS is such a big deal. But, you know, we're starting to see it take different names and forms now. I'm just happy to see it be incorporated. It would be worse. I would say it would be worse if my method was a dead end than if I saw it being renamed and just slightly changed it. You know, I prefer that. It's nice to see it being used. We're going to say phase 2, yes. Oh no, 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 oh no. I'm pressing things, don't do that. Show me phase 1. Oh my god. It must be dinner time soon. So here we go. Oh wow, look at that. This is in depth. What the hell? I don't think I've ever seen him actually do that. 25,000 character plan. He's telling you, look at this. He's telling you, set up the thing, set up your Git. Look. What, I don't think I've ever had a plan with where it's told you to set up the Git first like that. Then set up your virtual environment. Create your requirements. Install the dependencies. Make sure you do your pip upgrade as well. Look, I never see that. You never see that. So it's going to do all the things, and then project structure, create all the folders, do all the things. It's going to create the git ignore. Oh my god, look, it's like full structure, full code. Here is config train Shakespeare car.py. So train character level GPT on Shakespeare text. Thing is, if you can do that, you could... I'm not going to keep going. I'm just going to read. So there's your training script. Reproduction config for GPT-2. Interesting. Mate, I'll put this up, you know. It's just an, analysis and a good test case for the tool. So yeah, it's using the writer agent, look. It's using the writer agent, not that would say hybrid swarm if it was actually the hybrid swarm. One thing I noticed about the agent subsystem is he can actually refuse. You know, if he thinks the task isn't appropriate, he can actually be like, nah, I'll use something else actually, which I kind of like, because even though it would be interesting to see what it did, if it did what you told it to do when it was stupid, because sometimes you get happy accidents from doing stupid things. Even though it would be useful, it's actually more useful for him to have that dynamic ability to choose on the fly. Because again, we're trying to get it to assemble its own processors, right? Because then you don't need to code them. Anything which you could come up with is already in the model. So if I work under the assumption that all the things that we need to write are already in the model, all I need to do is make him do that. So really it's about the logic process, about what the agents need to be, and then allow him to create them on the fly. Yeah. Rather than writing them all out by hand. So that's holographic. You know, you have a projection of a shape, and you can modify the shape by twisting the lens. Okay. Kaleidoscope code. We'll probably have to do that at some point. Kaleidoscope code. What does that mean? It's crazy. But it's not me, it's the model. The model makes it happen. Look at that. It's going to give me the full thing, guys. So you can expect a repo to appear, which will obviously give thanks and acknowledgements and citations to the various people involved. But the concept was, have a look at that, build that, do this, and obviously he's brought the code down. So it's not like a fantasy. It's based on the code from that repo, which works. So I would say it has a pretty good chance of success. I mean, there aren't really any guarantees. So raising your chances of success is basically the best, I think, that you could, the best thing you could hope for, really. When you're making a plan, you don't really know if the plan's going to work until you have completed it. So I don't know about you guys, but I think it's pizza time. Right then, thank you very much, everybody. It's been a good show. We're going to call it there. What I'm going to do is disappear now. I'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. most likely. Thank you all for watching. We'll be continuing most likely over on the Discord. But it's just a casual thing, guys. Don't worry, you're not missing out. Although I do think it's a good thing to come along to. It's just not, it's just a casual meet after the show, right? So don't panic. And I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you very much, everybody.
Latent the WM field.
Enemies not so. It's not smash the devil. It's just. Say, Mom, I'm buying everything goes in this. Just give it one again, like, so you can keep it. Not far, that was fun. Okay.
got to do, skip, skip,